Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Um, had a few meetings, but join me. Come on in, say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If this is your first time, definitely let me know so I can give you a shout out. Hi, YouTube. Hi, Instagram and Facebook. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration attorney, and I represent clients all over the United States with their family immigration matter. Your location is not a problem, whether you're in, Florida, Alaska, North Dakota. We represent clients in all 50 states. You can call 407 995 6567. You can also send a WhatsApp to 404 333-8751. I'm gonna put that into the and I'm gonna pin the numbers on Instagram, and then obviously if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you should be able to see it scrolling through the ticker. I don't have any topics today. I just want to answer questions. Excuse me. I know a lot of you guys send me DMs, which unfortunately there's so many, so sometimes I can't review all of them. So you can certainly ask questions now. So okay, there we go. All right, let's see if this works. You should be able to see this pinned on Instagram now. And then if you're tuning into Instagram after this live, you can find my contact information by clicking the link tree, click the link, and it should take you to all my information, including booking a consultation yourself. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, you should be able to do the same. You can see me scrolling through the ticker. Let me say good morning. Good morning, Tanique. Good morning, Cleopatra. I said woke up early to see if you're on. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Good morning, Tamoy from Pennsylvania. Good morning, Justina from LA. Jen Gallo from Sacramento. Hey, Nika. Good morning. Tanique says, is it safe to travel? To use your travel documents? Tanique, if you're a client, send us a message in the client portal so we just confirm your immigration history, so we can best give you the advice. But generally, if you have a travel permit and you have a pending case pre-interview, and you don't have any removal proceedings, you don't have any pending asylum cases, or any removal orders, generally it's okay to travel. But let us know via your client portal, okay? Good morning, Yemi, and good morning, Chai Boy on Facebook and Staval. So feel free to just jump right into it, guys, and ask your questions. I have a little bit of time today, so I'm going to try and get to as many as I can. All right, let me scroll through Instagram and see what I have here. Good morning, Geraldine. Good morning, Ruckle Stefani. Thank you, Safine. That's really nice. Good morning, Patrice Kramer. Holly Amore 05 says, hi, sorry, where are you originated from? I'm Nigerian American. Single lady says, first time from San Francisco. Thank you so much for tuning in. God's favor, good morning from Philly. Rashid says, do you work for student visa holders, I guess, to get a green card? Only if you're eligible through a family-based position. Otherwise, if the only other way you would do it is if you're getting it through your employer, which is through H-1B, and we don't handle employment immigration. Merce says you've been slain lately. Thank you, girl. Or guy, I don't know who it is. Rory says hello. Hi. Demola says, "Hi, Demola from Pennsylvania. Are you from Nigeria?" Yes, I'm from Nigeria. I wasn't born there, but bred for a good part of my life there. So I'm very much Nigerian. My spouse is Nigerian. Our children are Nigerian. They've never been yet, but hopefully they would go soon. Cleopatra says, if you have a marriage green card case pending, can you change and file for VAWA? Absolutely. If you're eligible for VAWA, you can definitely file for VAWA, even though you have a marriage case pending. I mean, there's steps and processes that have to be taken to, change your application, but it can be done. Jen says, hey Aisha, I just migrated about 4 months ago through a green card lottery. Welcome. My boyfriend is back home. How do I get him over to the United States? We've been in a relationship for 5 years. Only way is through marriage. That's the only way, because you cannot apply for a fiance visa because you're not a US citizen. As a green card holder, the only way you can petition for a significant other is through marriage. So that would be the way to do it, okay? Geraldine says, how many times do they renew a prima facie? That's a good question. For those of you who don't know prima facie, you're tuning in for the first time. A prima facie is basically a determination that they make when they feel that your VAWA meets the minimum requirements for approval. Prima facie, you're initially given a 12-month prima facie determination letter, and then after that, you're given renewals in 6-month increments until they make a decision on your case. So basically, the answer to that is that it's going to be renewed until they approve the actual I-360, which is a VAWA petition. Okay? Any way to expedite an I-130 marriage base? I'm a doctorally prepared NP and spouse is currently pregnant. Not really sure I understand your question. So are you asking for expedite because your wife is pregnant or what? It all depends on, is she high risk? Where are you located? What would the hardship be? So those are all things, you can certainly put in the application. Ultimately, it's up to USCIS because it's discretionary for them to decide if they want to approve you or not. But, you can definitely apply for that. God's favor says, please, I want to ask, I intend to travel to Nigeria soon with my AP. Do I still need a visa when I get to Nigeria, when leaving Nigeria back to the United States? Is the AP the only thing I need? Your AP is permission to re-enter into the US. So it acts as a visa, if you would, just make sure that you meet the requirements to travel and that you don't have like any pending immigration judge cases or anything like that. You just want to make sure that, you need that. Anita says, if I submitted my VAWA case without a lawyer, can you take over from there and how much will you charge? Yes, we can take over. However, we would need to schedule a consult with you, find out what was submitted, and most likely do what we call a FOIA, so we can get your submission records and see what's lacking so that if we need to make any amendments, we can amend or supplement your application. Just a burpee today. Taladan says, thank you for everything. VAWA is amazing and so vast. Keep these lives coming. You're welcome. I appreciate it. Single lady, good morning from San Francisco. We have a lot of San Fran folks today. Good morning, phenomenally ambitious. Can your wife report to USCIS? Schofield says, can your wife report to USCIS? I'm not really sure what the context of the question is, but anybody can do anything they want. Anybody can can submit a letter to USCIS to tell them anything they want. The question is it credible what they're telling them? But I don't understand the context in which you're asking the question, so I'd need a little bit more. Can I work still if my EAD gets canceled? You're not authorized to work if your EAD gets canceled. Do people work under the table? I'm sure they do. There are many people that do. But are you authorized to work if your EAD gets canceled? No. If your B2 visa is almost up and you're just married, what should you do first to not fall into illegal immigrant status? If your B2 visa is almost up and you just got married, you should file for adjustment of status with your spouse. Lady Moses says, can I apply for VAWA if I have DACA? Absolutely. You can apply for VAWA regardless of any other petition that you have pending, as long as you don't have a green card already. Jen, this is a supplement to your initial question. If we get married here, can we file for adjustment of status right away? How long do we have to wait? There are different things to consider. Jen is the one who asked, who said she came here in a diversity lottery. You're a green card holder, and your boyfriend is outside the country. If your boyfriend came here, and you guys choose to get married here, typically if you get married and file anything within 90 days of your spouse being here, there's usually a presumption of misrepresentation of his initial entry here. So it might not necessarily be good for him, or he's going to need a waiver. Otherwise, after 90 days, if you choose to get married, one of the things that you would want to check at the time is if visas are available. Because you're a green card holder and not an immediate relative, you always want to make sure that visas are available. As of today, visas are available. I don't know when your boyfriend gets here whether visas will be available, because this changes every single month. So you always have to check based on the month. Okay. All right, let's see what else we have on Instagram. I have a question in here. Hi, pretty lady. I got my 10-year green card through abuse. If I want to apply for citizenship, do I still need to submit my abuse story and history? Do I have to relive it all over again? Well, one, I'm sorry that you went through that. That's terrible. Two, congratulations on getting your 10-year green card. And three, no, you do not have to relive abuse again. You do not have to submit anything on the abuse. You're eligible to submit citizenship 3 years from the date on your green card, well, as early as 2 years and 9 months. So congrats. Hi, good morning. If my green card holder dad is willing to do my petition, I came here last year on a J1. Will I receive a work permit during the process? Or I'll have to go home. I'm British. I don't know how old you are. If you're over 21, you're not going to get a work permit. Also, the other thing that you want to consider if you have a J1 is to make sure that you don't have a residency requirement in your home country. So a lot of people that have J1 visas have a residency requirement where it requires you to go back home for 2 years, or get a no objection waiver from your country saying that it's okay to proceed. So yeah. Oh, and then the third thing is not only is it about your age, is not only about you being over 21 versus under 21, because your dad is a green card holder, you must be in status in order for him to file for you here. If you're not in status, you cannot adjust your status. You can only do an I-130, which doesn't give you any benefit other than putting you in line for availability when visas are available. Okay, so you said you'll turn 21 in the next 12 days. This is what British says. So the question for you, though, is, are you in status? If you're not in status, it still remains the same. Good morning, Lottie the Blessed. Married for 1 year and a month now and still didn't get an interview. I got my social and work permit, though. Well, so you've been married for 1 year and a month, but when did you submit your application? So it depends on when you submitted your application. Marriage-based cases right now, it's like you move over one hump and then you go into the next hump. Like right now, marriage-based cases are taking a long time, like for you to be scheduled for an interview, and I'm not really sure why that's happening. Because marriage-based always used to be one where we were sure that in 12 months people will get scheduled, but it's not really been the case right now. Hi, Jimmy, from Germany. We don't handle business or employment-based immigration, so I'm not going to be able to answer your question. Kiara says, thank you for all these videos. Lots of immigrants still don't know about VAWA. Absolutely, a lot of people don't know about it. Jeff Wu says, good morning. Hi, how are you? Okay, so let's see what else I have here. Can you adopt your grandchildren who are still in Africa if you're a citizen? I mean, you could. It depends on how old they are, but there's also a residency requirement where you have to live with them for 2 years. Doesn't have to be cumulative. It doesn't have to be at one time. You can accumulate different trips there and obviously terminate parental relationship with their own parents. But there's a lot of nuances into that. And there are two ways. To adopt, whether you're doing it through here or whether your children are in a country that's part of the Hague Convention. So you can look into both ways to see if you're eligible. Patrice, if you're interested in filing for VAWA, call the office for 799-565-67, and then we can evaluate you and see if you're eligible. Okay. Angel Sweetness says, if you have a visiting visa and have applied for the green card lottery, but would it be a problem to travel back to my country, Guyana? Well, I guess it depends. Do you have anything that's pending other than the diversity lottery? You're welcome, God's favorite. Let's see. Can I file for my dad with a 10-year green card? No. You can only file for your dad once you become a U.S. citizen. So as soon as you're eligible for citizenship, file for citizenship. When you become a citizen, then file for your dad. My 2-year green card expires in February, but I haven't received any notice yet from USCIS. I still have to wait for that notice before I do anything. No, girl, you better put in your application to remove conditions on your green card. Sometimes they send to some people, sometimes they don't. So put it in once, depending on when and what month are we in? So February. So probably the earliest you'll be able to put it in will be like December-ish, basically 90 days before the date of expiration. Karina Shah Mensa says, if you get a VAWA working permit, is it a guarantee you'll get a green card? So because this might be confusing, so I want to make sure that the words are not misconstrued. So first of all, there's nothing in life that is guaranteed until it's done. So that's just life in general. That's number one. Number two, when you say a VAWA work permit, I'm going to differentiate the two. You mean you've been approved for VAWA and you received an approval, you received a work permit based on the approved VAWA. Because that work permit is very different from the work permit you get when you originally filed VAWA and your case is pending and you get a work permit. When your VAWA is approved, there is a work permit that you get that's different, that comes with what we call deferred action. If you get that, you have a good chance, depending on your personal situation. I don't know what your immigration history is. Do you have misrepresentation issues? Do you have fraud issues? Do you need a waiver for inadmissibility? There's just so many things to it that nobody can guarantee you that unless the person knows your case history and they're the ones making a decision. If you have absolutely nothing, no misrepresentation, no fraud, no nothing, you have a good chance of getting the green card. So without knowing more, it's very hard for anyone to tell you yes or no because they might be wrong. Okay, let's see what else. Take two more questions. I am Kiana. Gosh, I am Q Anna says, can I state that I worked unauthorized in my personal declaration? I take the approach of honesty. Did you work to survive? Why did you work? You can list it in there. The biggest issue is for people who work without authorization is if because if you're married to a U.S. citizen, typically they will forgive you for working without being authorized to work. What they're concerned with is making sure that you've not declared yourself to be a U.S. citizen. So if you've not worked where you have to submit an e-verify, where you wrote you're a U.S. citizen or whatever it is, then just be honest. Because the worst thing is lying about it and they say, well, we see that you work here and then you're dealing with a misrepresentation issue. Let me see what else. Okay, so thank you, Gracefully Broken. She says, I love the look today. And I love that song by Tasha Cobbs, by the way. It gets me every time I'm Gracefully Broken. Damala says, what advice do you have for first year PhD student trying to change status from F1? Again, I generally don't like to talk about stuff that I don't do, But, if you're a PhD student, try and get a job. Try and get somebody to sponsor you for an H-1B. That's your best option. Okay. If you are over 21 and in the US for over 6 months on a tourist visa, and your parent who's a green card holder wants to file for you, can that work? If you're over 21, your parents can file an I-130 for you. Yes, they cannot file a 485, they cannot file a work permit, they cannot file a travel permit. Once that I-130 is approved, which could take anywhere from today to the day, the day you file till, 5, 6, 7 years later, because that's the visa availability right now, you're going to then need a hardship waiver. If that's approved, then you have to go back home and finish the process. Again, all petitions, basically, think about it this way: when your petitioner is a green card holder, most likely you're not an immediate relative. That's the easiest way for me to explain to you guys. You're most likely not an immediate relative, meaning the benefits that he give you as citizens, they're not going to give it to you as green card holders. Like the things that you're going to forgive them for working under the table, they're not going to do that. So that's how you got to think about that. Billy says, attorney, if you don't want a grown brother-in-law in between you and your wife, is that abuse? Well, with VAWA, the abuse that they focus on is marital abuse. So the question is, what role does your wife play in allowing you to be abused by her brother? Is she a supporter of that? Does she endorse that? Does she encourage that? Does she egg him on? So those are all things that you would need to be screened for to see if she also is a perpetrator of that abuse as well. Because some people can be like, what do they call it? The master and the puppet, where like they're stringing the puppet and they're the ones really orchestrated from behind, but appear to look okay, and then the other person is doing all the dirty work. So, in a marital relationship, I do not believe that an outsider that's related to one spouse or the other can do to the other spouse what the other spouse doesn't allow them to do. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a possibility that if your wife is okay with certain things, then there's a possibility that she probably is also the perpetrator of what the brother-in-law is doing to you. Okay? It's me, Peter P says, what makes you in status? What makes you in status is if you enter into the country with inspection. and you're on your visas, whatever date your I-94 says, and you're in here within that time, and you leave before it expires, you're in status. You're also in status if you have a green card. You're in status, obviously, if you're a U.S. citizen. But basically, the minute you are a day outside of your admission into the U.S., the deadline, you're out of status. And once you're out of status, you start accruing unlawful presence. Unlawful presence comes with a ban. So this is how it works. If, let's say, you enter into the country with a visa and you're here, and your visa says stay here for 6 months, and then you're here for 7 months, right? You've accrued unlawful presence of an additional month, but you don't face a ban or a bar. If you accrue unlawful presence for 6 months or more, but less than 1 year, you have a 3-year ban from coming to the United States. If you accrue unlawful presence for more than a year, then you're looking at a 10-year ban. And these bans are effective if you leave the country. Like once you leave the country, then you wouldn't be able to come back for that timeline. Sleep Math says, a client here just to say thanks for all you do. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Lady Milson says, I wish I knew about Val 5 years ago. Wow, I'm so sorry that you didn't. Let's see. Let me go there. This person says, Junior, you have so much going on. Call us for an evaluation of your case. What's going on? It says, if I use my marriage-based EAD, will it affect my status as an F1 OPT? I have OPT EAD, but also have a marriage-based EAD. No, if you have a marriage-based EAD, you can use that EAD because you're legally allowed to use that. But you also said you applied for VAWA, but I'm afraid I might lose good EADs. You're not going to lose those EADs unless those cases are terminated or denied. But if you already have the marriage-based case, you can actually do an abeyance request so that they can merge your marriage with the VAWA, and that way you can keep that EAD. Last question, and then I really have to go. Getting married at 23, do they normally think you're getting married at a young age? And can that affect your interview because you're 23? So basically they're going to say, why are you getting married so young? I mean, people are entitled to believe what they want to believe, but there's no rule that tells you that you should be 40 to get married or 30. Love is love. People, choose to marry whenever they want to marry. I mean, is this something that they're going to pay attention to? They could, but as long as you have a legitimate marriage, why do you care? Just show them their marriage is real and you love each other. That's all. Because USCIS cannot tell you because you're young, I'm not going to approve you if you have a real marriage. The requirement is your marriage real? If your marriage is real, whether you're 23 or whether you're 50 or whether you're 75, you should be approved. Okay. All right, guys. I enjoyed chit-chatting with you guys. Meet me live next week. I'm not sure about Monday, but definitely Tuesday at 10. I'll be on live. I'm going to see about Monday, and then I'll be out of the country for the rest of the week. But I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will catch you all next week. Bye.